Hi, Oliver here. I hope you're well and I hope you're keeping safe during lockdown. In this video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about digital marketing because it's been a hot topic of conversation amongst the wingman community in the last few weeks. Because, like a lot of other people around the world, we've realized that this is lockdown's kind of presented a bit of an unusual opportunity in that compared to normal circumstances, you've got a way more captive audience out there waiting for you. You know, there's literally millions of people around the world stuck at home, mainly bored. So this is kind of an interesting opportunity and an excuse to dive a bit further into digital marketing so that you can either expand your audience or increase that engagement level that you have with your current audience, which you can then carry forward beyond lockdown. And the main reason I wanted to create this specific video is I don't know if you feel the same way as well, but sometimes I can feel a bit overwhelmed by marketing because there's so much information out there and there's so much noise, and digital marketing in particular, social media, etc. You know, the goalposts are moving all the time, so it can be very noisy, so and very difficult to sort of see the woods from the trees. So what I thought I would do is kind of share with you 5 timeless principles that I go back to when I need to kind of clear the fog and just set everything straight. So principle number 1 is, before I really even dive into the marketing strategy, I always ask myself, why am I marketing in the first place? So it's taking on that toddler mentality of just asking why the whole time. And the purpose of that is to basically connect your marketing strategy to your wider kind of aims and ambitions as an artist or as a creative business. So for example, in a marketing context, you might say, well, I need to market because I need to expand my audience, or I need to create a deeper engagement level with the audience I have, or I need to increase my website traffic, or I want to increase the amount of inquiries I get about my work through social media. Just keep asking yourself that question, why do I need to market? What is it that I actually want? And being clear on that will just mean everything else flows really nicely. So that's principle number 1. Be a toddler and ask, why am I marketing? Why should I bother? Why should I care? And get specific about what you need the marketing to do for you. Principle number 2 is know your audience. So you know, the world is made up with a huge amount of demographics, and the ambition of marketing is not to be all things to all people, and especially in art. You know, it's better to be, what's that saying, one person's shot of gin or whiskey than everyone's cup of tea. So the key to unlocking that is figuring out who are your audiences. So have a think about who's bought your work in the past, who's shown interest recently, who's engaging with you in social media at the moment, who are they, what are their interests, what are their needs socially, where are they, and physically get down on paper or on screen who they are and what their interests are and what their needs are, and really get yourself in tune with those specific demographics there, because again, that will make all of the next steps flow really easily as well. So that's step number 2. Think about your audience, and within that as well, think about who your kind of dream collector or collaborator or client will be, and again, just profile them in as much detail as possible. Principle number 3 is just a case of asking yourself, where do those people hang out? So in a digital sense, it's asking, where does that specific audience demographic, where are they spending their time online? Is it on YouTube? Is it on Facebook? Is it on Instagram? Is it on Twitter? Is it on TikTok? You know, where are they hanging out? Where are they spending time? So really what we're talking about here is channel selection. And again, you know, the nuance of this is the goalposts are moving all the time in terms of new platforms that are coming out. Generally speaking, I advise most people just to focus their efforts on maybe 2 or 3 social media strategy platforms. Maybe think about email as well. Don't forget about email. It still can be very effective. So including your website, you maybe want to have for at the most 5 different channels. So don't spread yourself too thin by signing up to anything and everything. Um, just maybe every 3 months, look at your audience profiles, look at where they're hanging out, look at what their preferred social media platforms are. Are they still engaging with email, etc., etc. So that's principle 3. Figure out where these people are hanging out, where they're spending their time, what are their kind of preferences. Principle number 4 is just thinking broadly about the content strategy. So content strategy in itself is a bit of a minefield because there's just so much information out there that it becomes a bit tricky and a bit noisy. So there's a couple of principles within content strategy I keep coming back to. The first is that it's really important to communicate not only what you're doing, but in some ways it's more important from a marketing point of view to communicate why you're doing it and how you're doing it. The why and the how for most people creates a deeper level of engagement and understanding of what you're doing. So if you're an artist, why are you an artist? What do you stand for? What do you believe in as an artist and as an individual, as a human being? How do you physically make your work? You don't have to give all your secrets away, but giving some sort of insight into your technique or your process can be really insightful and create that engagement with people. And of course, sharing stories behind the painting, the product itself as well. So that's the first sort of principle within content strategy. The second one I keep going back to is think about the different emotions and energies that you can convey within your marketing strategy. For me, the best marketing campaigns of all time from people like Apple and Nike, they're very rarely doing the hard sell where they say, here's something, do you want to buy it? What they're thinking of instead is, how can we make people feel inspired? How can we help them feel empowered? Because that energy and that emotion that people feel will then drive them to want to know more about your product, so to speak. And when you fuel people with energy and emotion, they're much more likely to show a curiosity about what you're doing and go on and buy something. So that's principle 4. Think broadly about the content strategy in those contexts of the why, the how, the what, and the emotion and the energy that you can convey as an artist. Principle 5. It's probably the most important or the most impactful in terms of fine-tuning and getting better and better and better every month, which is review the analytics, which is something that most people don't do. But the whole magic of digital marketing is everything's measurable. A Facebook post, an Instagram story, website analytics, email campaigns, once a month, or on Instagram maybe once a week. Sit yourself down and look at the numbers. What's working, what's not working? Just fine-tune things here and there. And for me, that's the whole principle of work smarter, not harder, is figuring out what works and what doesn't, cutting out the stuff that doesn't work, having figured out why it's not working, and do more of the stuff and build upon the stuff that is working. It's also a nice handy cure for perfectionism, which is something that I've suffered with. You don't have to get everything perfect first go. And the great thing about looking at numbers and analytics is it gives you the cold hard truth of what's working and what's not working. So go through the numbers and learn from it. Also, you can get feedback from people by talking to collectors, customers, clients. That's a fantastic way of getting more kind of detailed feedback beyond the numbers. So use the combination of the data and general conversations that you have with your demographic, so that every month you're getting better and better and better and better, and the marketing side of things is just getting punchier the whole time. So they're the 5 principles that I keep going back to when I feel a bit stuck or I need to get back grounded again. Ask myself, why am I marketing in the first place? What do I need the marketing to actually do for me? Who is my audience? Who's my demographic? Where do they hang out? What content can I create that will give them an insight into the why, the how, the what, and can I stir some different emotion or energy in them? And the 5th one is review the data. review the analytics and learn from it. So there we go. There's the 5 principles that I keep going back to. I hope there's something in there that might be of interest and that you could perhaps incorporate into your own strategy, your own thinking. As ever, there's further insight and information available at theartistwingman.com. You can also use that website to schedule a chat with me if there's anything on your mind at the moment in relation to your practice or your business that you'd like to discuss. In the meantime, keep well, keep safe, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.